Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Izzatul Shahira binti Ahmad. I am the first presenter. The second presenter is Muhammad Alif Haikal bin Azrin. The third presenter is Ahmad Idham bin Ahmad Nizam. The fourth presenter is Eddie Luqman bin Muhammad. And the last presenter is Muhammad Arif Akif bin Muhammad Shahar. So the skill that we are choosing is jumping heading in football.
Rafael Guerrero with the cross. Cristiano Ronaldo breaks the deadlock. His 10th goal in the European Championship finals equals Michel Platini's record for the tournament. And Wales have to come from behind. Stunning header from Ronaldo.
Okay, firstly we start with the background of the skills. So the skills of jumping heading, it is a technique that is commonly used in the associations of football to control the ball using the head to pass, to shoot or to clear the ball. It can be done by standing, jumping or diving position. So that's all from me. I will pass to the second presenter.
Concentric sternocleidomastoid muscle activity follows as the head moves forward and the ball rebounds from the head. These include the trapezius, which support the sternocleidomastoid contraction and braces the neck muscle as the head makes impact toward the ball. The neck performs the extension to flexion movement made by the pivot joint. The bone involved, which is the cranial portion of the skull, also involved in the heading skill. Second, the obliques and the abdominal muscle really helps the whole body movement. This include the movement of rotation, the backwards motion and also the forward motion. The bone involved for stabilizing the body and also to keep it upright is the spine. The spinal cord enables the flexible motion towards the players, balance the body and keeps an upright posture. And the last one is the hamstring. The hamstring muscle in our legs flex and hold firm the knee joint during the counter movement or squat position. To the jump motion, when the players want to jump higher, they should awaken and strengthen the assisting muscle, which are the calf, gluteus and all the muscle around the hip section. Okay, next movement of the skill, there are three. The first phase is the backswing while hanging in the air after jumping. The backswing is where the players collects the force corresponding to the situation. During the backswing, the player perform the extension and collect a right full force before making an important ball. Okay, the second phase is the forward swing. After collecting all the force during the backswing, the player must continue to do the forward swing so that an impact towards the ball is made. Okay, and the last one is the follow through. To complete the heading skill perfectly, the follow-through is important. If the follow-through is not done, the force is not transferred fully to the ball. The follow-through is important so that the force from the body is full transferred to the ball and made of good effect.
Okay, now I will continue the slide. My part is form of motion for jumping header. We divide into two which are linear motion and irregular motion. So point for linear motion for jumping is anything that move in a straight line. Number two is jumping movement that move straight upwards. So meaning for linear motion for jumping, according to the types of motion, most human movement is general motion, a complex combination of linear and angular motion component. Both are pure form of motion which are useful to break complex movement down. When performing an analysis, linear motion is when an object moves in a straight line. So as jumping, a player jumps in a straight line upwards, so that the form of motion is a linear motion. So we go to the linear motion and irregular motion for heading. Point number one is heading towards a goal or clearing the ball away. Number 2 is heading towards the goal in straight direction or clearing the ball away in irregular motion. Meaning that is irregular motion. When making impact towards the ball can move in a straight line or the ball can move indirectly anywhere. So it's all depend on which part of the ball is hit. Which part of the hit is used to make impact. So how high the jump is and also how much force is transferred toward in the ball. Okay, now I will continue the slide. For mechanical base of human motion, we divide into two base. Number 1 is law of acceleration. Okay, for acceleration of the object as produced by a net force is directly proportional to the magnitude of the net force in the same direction as the net force, and inversely proportional to the mass of the object. When a ball is hitting, it tends to travel the direction of the line of action to apply the force. So the greatest amount of force applied, the greatest the speed the ball has. So we go to the mechanical behavior. So mechanical behavior we divide into two types. Number 1 is impact. Okay, for impact heading is the player head the forcibly forced into contact with the ball. The other behavior is the momentum. As the ball is moving, a slow momentum, the player who comes up for header with a fast momentum will allow the movement of the ball to grow faster and stronger as soon impact was made by the player using their head. So that's all for me.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So for the next part is kinematic and kinetic analysis of the skill. Okay, first, kinematic is study of the motion of a point, object and group of object without considering the causes of its motion. The full movement potential of a joint usually is range of flexion and extension. Linear motion is the motion that is natural to an object, moving in a straight line. It is created by the speed that is starting from run down the runway, and the vertical velocity is a combination of speed carried in from the run. Second, kinetic. From header in soccer using kinetic, the finding indicated that when header, the involved statement deserve keep closer to the mediolateral axis in compliance with the moment of momentum. In this way, the player can finish the header better, and during front header with both feet taking off from ground. The main factors influencing the hitting power of front header include linear and angular velocity of head, angular acceleration of posterior causa and neck, and hitting power has lower relative velocity with angular acceleration of head. Due to the characteristic of joint movement, the angular acceleration of both knees was rather lower. Alright, next part is planes of motion. First reference plane is sagittal plane. Sagittal plane is a vertical plane that divides the body into left and right side using an imaginary line that gives us the sagittal plane. To perform a jump while heading, the movement must be flexion and extension. Also using a forward movement to jump and hitting the ball, and backward movement which is an extension to get the right timing before heading the ball. So the reference axis is mediolateral axis. Mediolateral, also known as the transverse axis, it means that we take our imaginary plane and insert it from a lateral or side approach. If we are moving a shoulder joint and hip joint while jumping in a sagittal plane. It means that we are moving around the transversal axis. This movement in the shoulder and hip joint are called flexion or extension. Alright, thank you.
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Ali Akib Shar, and now I will be the last presenter for this presentation. The slide that I'm going to present is the steps for maximizing skill performance. There are 5 steps to perform this skill completely, and the first step is the loading of the leg. The athlete must start by both legs standing on the ground, or the front or the dominant leg in front, and the support leg at the back, so the thrust can be the thrust of the jump can be high as possible. The second step is the takeoff and arm swing coordination with the support of their arm swing, and then it coordinates the jump, the takeoff, following the ball movement. The third step is trunks and legs backward extension. So while the athlete is hanging in the air after jumping, the trunk and the leg extended in an extension motion, which is backwards, so to increase force before impact. The fourth step is ball impact. After collecting all the force, doing the extension, the athlete then moves to a flexion motion, which he will go like that and make the impact towards the ball using the cranial portion. The cranial is this part of the skull. And the last step is beginning of the landing. After making impact, after doing the heading skill, steady the body, balance the body, and prepare the legs for landing to reduce the risk of injury. And last but not least is the conclusion. I will read the conclusion of this whole presentation, this whole skill in biomechanics studies. So in conclusion, biomechanics are using the science of mechanics to study the movement of living things. Heading is considered to be an essential soccer skill. So this heading skill is mostly commonly used in football. Biomechanical methods were developed to analyze the skill and maximizing skill performance. And the study of biomechanics is really important. So when the body wants to move naturally on its own to perform the skill, with the study of biomechanics, we can help to reduce the stress and pressure on our bones, our muscles, our joints, and etc. So we can decrease the risk of getting injured. And that is all from our group. Thank you.